Last summer, I went on a safari to Africa. And I attempted something which hasn't been done before, or in a while. I wanted to capture all the animals I saw on film, Kodak 200 specifically. So I took 3 cameras. The Sony CyberShot G from 2009, the Lumix DMC LX3 from 2008 with a Leica lens, my main photography camera, which was the Canon Rebel 2000 from 1999, lenses 100 to 300 millimeters, and a 28 to 105, plus 10 rolls of Kodak 200. I think it's one of the best stocks for bright sunny days, and that's exactly what we got there in Africa, so that's what I shot. My trip began at the Manchester airport, which I flew out of. I took this picture of this guy sitting next to me, which I think is pretty nice. I had an overlay in Switzerland, another in Ethiopia, and I arrived at my first destination, Victoria Falls. These are the falls, but they actually look a bit more like this. Before I get ahead of myself, just let me show you what the trip was like.
Like the pine trees lining the winding road, I've got a name, I've got a name. Like the singing bird and the croaking toad, I've got a name, I've got a name. And I carry it with me like my daddy did, but I'm living the dream that he kept here. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by. Like a north wind whistling down the sky, I've got a song.
While in Africa, I visited a total of 4 countries. I got to go on this trip thanks to my grandfather-in-law, Axel, who is this guy. He's a great guy, he knows a ton of people in the area, so that's how we got to go on the trip. I started in Zimbabwe for Victoria Falls, jumped into Zambia to go to Devil's Pool. I stayed at a lodge in Namibia for 3 days and then went into the bush in Botswana. Once we got to Botswana, we drove for hours on a dirty, bumpy road to get to our campsite, which was in the middle of nowhere.
Rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by.
So this is one of the first pictures I took on the trip. We were in a helicopter flying over the falls. From this angle, you can just see how it's just a massive crack on the earth, which is pretty cool. The next day we went to the falls on the other side of the cliff and we walked around. The closer you get to the falls, the mistier and rainier it gets, so we were soaked by the end of it. This I took while we were in Chobe, which is a small area in Namibia. We were on a boat in the river Chobe. The driver was Anthony, and this guy was a genius. He knew everything about the animals. He was finding animals all around. He knew the places to go to, so yeah, he was great. We saw some buffaloes and they were very calm that day, so we were able to get really close on the boat. So this lizard, it was about 6 or 7 inches. We were driving and somehow Anthony just saw it from like on the coast. We were driving pretty far from the coast. We were driving super fast. Somehow he saw this lizard, like this tiny lizard, way over there on the coast, and he stopped. He got us close to it and he said, "Do you guys see it?" And we were like, "See what?" And then he got us even closer to the coast, like we were like touching the coast. He pointed and then we saw it, and he was like eating some meat or whatever, like some dead animal. Some hippos just having a meal. He looked up at me, so I had to take the shot. So here we were super close to the elephants. This was taken in Savuti, Botswana, and our guide, Alistair, he's basically like a Bear Grylls. He would drive us around, he would stop, get off the car, check for some tracks, for some footprints, see where the animals are heading, and he would get back in the car and he would drive us to the place, and there they were, the animals. We saw elephants, we saw lions, we saw a ton of stuff. This is one of my favorites. I think the composition turned out really good, with the tusk as the main subject and the other elephant in the background, giving it a nice, interesting shape. Every once in a while, we would take a short break to get off the truck, have a drink or a snack and just walk around. Not too far because there were wild animals everywhere, obviously. At one point, we stopped at this massive baobab tree, which apparently they told us it was around 2,000 years old. And I love just watching and wondering everything that it must have seen. Like 2,000 years old, that's a long time to be alive. It just makes me think that we're just tiny dots in the lifetime of this tree and the lifetime of the earth and all of that. It really gets you thinking about those kinds of things. Obviously, I had to take a sunset picture. They are gorgeous. It's literally like the Lion King intro. While we were in Savuti, we also saw one leopard that we just kept finding as we drove around. It was the same leopard every time. This is also one of my favorites. It's just insanely lucky that it looked at me, because usually these animals, they don't really pay attention to you. They're kind of like doing their own thing. And if you're in the truck or the car, they're not really going to pay attention to you because they just see like a massive thing of metal. They're not really interested in metal. They want meat. So if you get out of the car, then they're going to notice you and then they're going to go for you. This one was taken in Shakawi, which was our last stop in Botswana. Crocodiles are scary animals. They are super fast on land. I didn't realize that. I knew that they were fast on the water and they're dangerous as heck. But on land, they are fast and they move, they slither around. They're scary. We got really lucky because we saw lots of lions.
Look at his mouth.
These were taking a nap when a warhog, who just must not have seen them, he walked by literally, and they all stood up and stared at it. So the warhog started running on the opposite direction, and one of the female lions started chasing it, but he got away looking for him. So this is something that I'm really glad I did. I just kind of took some notes of the film roll specifically, like what each film roll had. Then I did a little itinerary as well of what we did each day. And it's just basically like a little diary that I kept of things that we did. And I'm really glad I did, because now I know what we did each day. And the plan was that once I got home, I would write it down in my journal, more in detail what we did. But what I wish I had done is to actually keep a journal while I was journeying. I think it would have been super fun to just be able to each night write something down, write down my thoughts, what I had felt about the places that I've been to, because I remember the facts like now, but I don't remember exactly all the things that I was feeling. The big events like Devil's Pool or whatever, yes, but you know, the day-to-day things, the people that I met and how it was interacting with them, I don't really remember everything that I felt. And I wish that I had kept a travel log. Just a little journal where I'm writing each night my thoughts, my feelings about the trip, the places I've been to, the people I've met. That's something that I wish I had done, but it's okay, because there will be more trips in the future. But I'm just, kind of like giving you some advice. I think it would be a good idea. I really encourage you to, next trip you go on, take a little journal, a little notebook that you can write your thoughts on. Then you can transcribe it if you want. If you don't want to take the time to write down stuff on paper, you can always write it on your phone. But just taking the time to write down the things you feel, because I think that's really important. Traveling is such a beautiful thing, such a human thing that we do. And I feel like maybe we could give it more of our time and attention in a genuine way. So yeah, next time you go on a trip, take a journal, write down your thoughts, write down your feelings, and see how you feel.